Hold on to your toques, Canada, because the political landscape is anything but frozen solid. The Great White North is witnessing a political earthquake, the aftershocks of which will determine the direction of our nation. With Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's unexpected resignation, Canadians find themselves on the precipice of a new era. The political ground is shifting beneath our feet, and the stakes have never been higher. The race to fill Trudeau's shoes within the Liberal Party is heating up. Meanwhile, the Conservative Party, led by Pierre Poilievre, is seizing the moment, capitalizing on the uncertainty and surging ahead in the polls. Canadians are demanding change, with a growing chorus calling for an immediate election. This is a pivotal moment in our nation's history. The decisions made in the coming months will have far-reaching consequences for every Canadian. Buckle up, folks, it's going to be a wild ride. After nearly a decade at the helm, Justin Trudeau's reign as Prime Minister has come to an end. His resignation, announced in early January, sent shockwaves through the nation. While initially met with surprise, many political analysts saw it coming. Trudeau's once bright star had been steadily dimming, tarnished by scandals and a perceived disconnect with ordinary Canadians. The final straw seemed to be growing dissent within his own party, particularly a reported rift with then Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. The details remain shrouded in speculation, but one thing is clear. Trudeau's departure has left a void in Canadian politics, one that ambitious contenders are eager to fill. The Liberal Party, now facing an identity crisis, is scrambling to find a new leader who can recapture the hearts and minds of Canadians. The race is on, and it's shaping up to be a clash of titans. Two front-runners have emerged, the ambitious and experienced Chrystia Freeland and the somewhat enigmatic former Bank of England Governor, Mark Carney. Freeland, a seasoned politician with a sharp intellect and a reputation for toughness, represents a continuation of the Liberal establishment. Carney, on the other hand, is a relative outsider, a wild card who could potentially shake things up. He's a charismatic figure with an impressive international resume, but his lack of experience in Canadian domestic politics could prove to be a liability. With the leadership convention fast approaching, the battle for the soul of the Liberal Party is only just beginning. While the Liberals are busy licking their wounds and battling it out for leadership, the Conservatives, under the leadership of Pierre Poilievre, are smelling blood in the water. Recent polls paint a stark picture. The Conservatives are enjoying a commanding lead. They're resonating with Canadians hungry for change and disillusioned with the status quo. Poilievre, once dismissed by some as too extreme, has skillfully positioned himself as the champion of the everyday Canadian. He's tapped into a vein of discontent, particularly around issues like the rising cost of living, and is promising bold action. The Conservatives are riding a wave of momentum, and if an election were held today, they'd be the clear favourites to form government. Section 5. The People Have Spoken calls for a fresh mandate. Canadians are a patient bunch known for our politeness and love of hockey, but even our legendary patience has its limits. The political turmoil, coupled with pressing economic concerns, has ignited a firestorm of demands for a fresh start. A resounding majority of Canadians, across all demographics and regions, are calling for an immediate federal election. They want their voices to be heard, and they want a government that reflects their priorities. The pressure is mounting on the interim Liberal government to heed the calls for an election. Ignoring the will of the people for too long could have disastrous consequences for the Liberals, further eroding their already dwindling support. Section 6. Public Sentiment, a look at the leaders. In the court of public opinion, perceptions are everything, so how do the main party leaders stack up in the eyes of Canadians? Justin Trudeau, despite his undeniable charisma, leaves office with his popularity at an all-time low. Years of scandals and a sense that he was out of touch with the struggles of ordinary Canadians took their toll. Pierre Poilievre, on the other hand, has managed to cultivate an image of strength and decisiveness. His message of economic populism and his relentless attacks on the Liberal elite seem to be resonating with voters. The NDP's Jagmeet Singh, while generally liked, is struggling to break through the noise and present a compelling alternative. The upcoming election will hinge on whether the Liberals can convince Canadians that they still have what it takes to lead, or whether it's time for a changing of the guard. Section 7. Bread and butter issues dominate voter concerns. Forget the lofty rhetoric and partisan bickering. Canadians are laser-focused on the issues that hit closest to home. Top of mind for most are the rising cost of living, the state of healthcare, and the ever-increasing cost of housing. These are the kitchen table issues that keep Canadians up at night, and they will be the deciding factors in the next election. The party that can convince voters they have concrete, workable solutions to these problems will be the one celebrating on election night. Canadians are tired of empty promises and political gamesmanship. They want action, and they want it now. Section 8. The winds of change. Is Canada ready for a new direction? There's a palpable sense of anticipation in the air, a feeling that Canada is on the cusp of something big. The old political order is crumbling, and a new one is struggling to be born. The question on everyone's mind is Canada ready for a dramatic shift in direction? The Conservative Party, with its message of change and its focus on economic anxieties, seems poised to capitalize on this sentiment. But it would be foolish to count out the Liberals just yet. They still have a deep well of support, and with the right leader, they could potentially stage a comeback. One thing is for sure, the next election will be one for the history books. Section 9. The road ahead, predictions and possibilities. Predicting the future is a fool's game, especially in the unpredictable world of Canadian politics. However, one can't help but speculate on the potential outcomes of the upcoming election. If the current trends hold, the Conservatives are the odds-on favourite to win a majority government. Poilievre would usher in a new era of Canadian conservatism, one that would likely be more fiscally conservative and less willing to compromise. However, a lot can happen between now and election day. The Liberals, under new leadership, could regain their footing and make it a close race. The NDP, while unlikely to win, could play the role of kingmaker, holding the balance of power in a minority government scenario. The only certainty is that the future of Canada is up for grabs. The choices Canadians make in the coming months will determine the course of our nation for years to come.